Hey guys, it's Mike. Uh, Sitting here from my home in St. Cloud, Florida, just a little bit south of Orlando. I've actually made a bunch of videos since the last one, but didn't really post many of them. As you all know, since 2020 started, the world's kind of gone off the rails, to put it mildly. It's not been a great year. I've been one of the ones fortunate enough to be able to keep my job, and part of that is because I'm in IT. But I had clients that weren't directly affected by this virus, and for the most part, my clients end up in the life sciences space, so medical, pharmaceutical. So I ended up being blessed enough to be into areas where I'm needed. That said, as you all know, I used to travel a lot to different clients, and obviously that's over. So this is the longest I've been home in probably a decade. And I guess, when 2020 started, I started doing some reflection of my life and all the travels, and I was starting to get a little tired of traveling. Be careful what you wish for. But it's good. It's good. It's good. The downside to all this traveling, however, is you tend to work a lot more when you're working remote. So you don't have to get up, get dressed, go to the office. You get up, get dressed, walk 10 feet, and you're working. And in the project that I'm currently on, I've got a customer here in the United States, and I've got an entire staff of people that are offshore. When I say offshore, it's basically India, that are doing the development work for this project. So I'm kind of trying to run that whole thing, and I find myself up all day meeting with customers, coming up with needs, requirements, appeasing whatever they need, and basically trying to make the magic happen with them. And then I end up spending up all night with my offshore team, making sure we're actually producing what we promised. And that's all good. But I'm tired. It's been a long project just kicked off a couple weeks ago, and I'm exhausted. So this is a Friday night, and I'm going to allow myself to relax for a few hours. So I was going into this weekend kind of optimistic, and then I found out earlier today that a good friend of mine from Australia that I knew when I was down there, he's younger than me, better shape than me, always got a great attitude in life. He went in for some elective surgery and apparently never came out, so that was unfortunate. That was kind of a bummer to me today, and that kind of was a gut punch. A friend of mine and I were talking about him, and then my friend went to reach out to him and realized what happened, and he called me up and gave me the bad news. Anyway, got some new technology to review and talk about. Getting back to what this channel's about. My ad raid server is now going on about 4 years old. It's still running good. As you know, when this channel started, I was in a home in Georgia, the Atlanta area. And that house was nice. It was wired for gigabit Ethernet throughout the house. Any room I went into, I could plug in a cable. When I moved here to Florida, I did not build this house. It was built by the builder. It's a new house, but it was built before I got here. And for reasons I'll never figure out, well, I shouldn't say that, not everybody needs it, but they didn't put Ethernet in this house. But more of a problem is they only put one phone line in this house, which, as you guys know, if you don't have Ethernet run through the walls, you can sometimes piggyback off phone lines, but nobody uses wired phones anymore, so you just put one phone jack in. And thank God they did that, because more on that in a second. So for a long time, I've been working on wireless, and it's been kind of cramping my style. I try to copy, if I do a video, I try to copy a video file up to the server, and it was taking a year and a day over Wi-Fi. And I was on Charter Spectrum. More recently, I got rid of my Charter Spectrum, which was about 50 to 100 megabits down, about 5 megabits up. And I went into fiber to the curb down here. It's from CenturyLink. And this is where that phone jack comes in, because that's how they had to get it into the house. So it's fiber all the way up to the side of the house, and an Ethernet jack into a cable modem they gave me, which also doubles as a router. And I've got, it's 1,000 megabit internet. Now, in all practicality, I can't test that because all the speed tests cap out on download at a certain point. So, like, some speed tests will tell me I'm getting like 300 down, some will tell me 400 down. Some will tell me 150 down. It's just that somehow I think we're saturating the speed test. But uploading, it's like 800 megabits. It's nice. That said, most of the computers in this house are still on Wi-Fi. So the bottleneck is no longer the Ethernet within the house. The bottleneck is now the actual wireless network. To kind of alleviate some of these concerns, though, I did manage to move. This is my office, and we'll we'll take a tour later when it's not quite so messy. But this is my home office room, and I moved the server in here, and I moved one of my Asus wireless routers in here, and I moved a gigabit switch in here. So all the hardware in this room is potentially connected together. Now the cable modem is all the way on the other side of the house. Okay, that's all the way to the back of the house. Let's just put it that way. And that's the direct link and the CenturyLink. So I've got an Asus wireless router in this room that I use that connects this room to that wireless router for the internet. Okay, so all the hardware connects into the gigabit switch, into this wireless router, into the internet. I also got another Asus wireless router upstairs to handle the internet upstairs. I could have made it a mesh network. I didn't, because sometimes they hand off a little late. So I just basically got 3 different access points in here, connect to the one that makes the most sense. We'll talk about that too. But anyway, until I can actually get the house wired for Ethernet, this is a good stopgap solution. What I would like to do, and again, we'll do a tour on this, the way they do things in Florida, they don't put your air conditioner in the basement or in the attic, because the attic gets too bloody hot. So we actually got a closet upstairs that contains the air conditioner unit, and that closet stays really, really cold. So I'd like to put the servers in there. I think that would be an ideal spot, but there's no Ethernet in there. So I got a buddy that does low voltage wiring, and whenever I get him down here to Florida, buy him some beer, we'll put him to work and get some Ethernet in this place. There's no basement in Florida. Everything's on a slab, so I can't go under it either. It's a bundle of fun down here. But I do like it. I don't miss the Atlanta traffic at all. Anyway, so that's an update of my life. And as you all know, I got married last year, so I'm enjoying married life as well. That's about it. So I hope you all staying safe with this COVID. I know of people that have gotten sick. This is nothing to play around with. I've always been a bit of a germphobe, and that's apparently served me pretty well. Although, back in February, when this whole thing was starting, my wife and I were actually down in the Philippines, and we had a heck of a time getting home, because they started banning. We were supposed to connect through Hong Kong. That was a no-go. There was no connections there, and other countries wouldn't let us in if we did connect there. And then we were supposed to connect in Japan, and that became a problem. So we actually managed. I was flying American Airlines, and I'll tell you what, I'm a frequent flyer in American Airlines. I go all over the world on them. I'm executive platinum every year, except for maybe this year. Well, they are extending it, but I'm not really flying much this year. But when push comes to shove, if you're executive platinum member with them, they will go out of their way to help you. So they managed to, probably at their own expense, because they're not partners with Philippine Air, but they managed to put us both on a Philippine Air direct flight into Los Angeles. So that got us back to Los Angeles. My wife is she was traveling on an advanced parole card. She's not a citizen yet. She's a Philippine citizen. So we did miss her flight home, because immigration takes about 5-6 hours. They take their time on their secondary screening. So we spent a night in LA, and then we got home. But the point of the story is, while we were down there back in February, after we arrived, we both got pretty sick for a couple days. And she went off with her family, and I had stayed in Manila. So we were separated, but we both were sick for a couple days, and we didn't think much of it. We got better. We both went to the doctor, got some meds. But in hindsight, I'm wondering if we actually had it down there. So I don't know if that buys us immunity or what that means at all. But anyway, this thing we have in the U.S. is spreading like crazy. In Florida, we did reopen some stuff, and some people got stupid and it's spreading again. But we'll get it under control, and what's the expression? This too shall pass. Anyway, and this is the last video you're going to see me looking really bad. Usually I film these videos on my DSLR, and back when I was in Georgia, I had a nice light kit, which somehow got lost in a move. Well, my DSLR lens has broken, and I have to order a new one. Those things are not cheap. So I'm filming this on a Logitech 1080p webcam, is why I look awful, and the lighting's really bad. But get this, my 12-year-old son, for Father's Day, took a significant amount of his own money and bought me some desktop studio lights for my YouTube channel. I guess he missed me making videos, and he knew I needed the lights. And I thought that was, for a 12-year-old to come up with that, I thought that was a great gift idea. And I know his sister, his older sister, she's not living in a house anymore. She lives on the other side of Orlando, veterinary technician, my daughter. I miss her. I kind of wish she still lived home. I guess she helped facilitate him buying those lights. So it was a nice family thing. So anyway, enough about that. You guys don't check this channel to hear me ramble. But things are looking up, other than the entire world burning. And that'll get better. All right, guys. Until next time. Oh, one more thing. This is not an Apple product introduction. Although we do need to talk about those ARM processors. One more thing. My wife and I have decided to launch a separate YouTube channel. And probably the timing is not great, because one of the things we want to do is, as I travel for work and as she goes with me sometimes, we kind of want to do ad hoc travel videos. So we'll see how that goes. It's a little different from the tech channel, but I think people will watch it because she's a lot cuter to me and more fun. But anyway, that's it. I'm very, very blessed in life. And like I said, losing my friend today puts things in perspective. Appreciate what you got. Enjoy every moment, even when things are bad. Just stuff to look forward to. So I'm quite optimistic, quite positive, and love you all for sticking with this channel for this long. I was just starting to get it launched when I got distracted and started getting into other things, and never really got a chance to get it to that next level. So hopefully we'll make that do. I'm gonna actually make it a priority to start doing these on a regular basis. All right. Again, love you all. Thanks. Be safe. Take care. This is Mike.